Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we are here at Frederick County Animal Control on Rosemont Avenue to introduce you to some of our adoptable pets. Our first guest is Maggie, and Maggie is a domestic shorthair brown tabby cat who came to us as a stray. She's already spayed, so obviously she was someone's pet, and certainly you can tell by her demeanor that she's used to people. But we got in September 22 calls from people looking for their cats, and most of those people came into the shelter to look. We have over 60 cats in the shelter, and none of them match those 22 reports of lost cats, including Maggie. So Maggie does need to find a new home, and one of the things that we always encourage people to do is either microchip or put a collar on your cat, or both. Because this is a common occurrence here. Every single month we get about 20 or 30 reports of missing cats. We have 60 to 100 cats in the shelter and no matches. So one thing people ask all the time is what is happening to all these cats? Well, Frederick does have a small population of coyotes. There's traffic, stray dogs. Oftentimes people who see a cat that doesn't have a collar will just feed and take the cat in, and then the cat never ends up in the shelter. And certainly if you're missing a cat, that's the best outcome that you hope for. You hope your cat finds a safe place to be. But cats outside are in a lot of danger from all of those things, and often don't get reunited with their family. So Maggie is in such a situation. If you think that Maggie would make a nice cat for you or someone that you know, then please let us know or pass her picture around on petfinder.com or this episode of Pet Pals. You are a good girl. Good. Our next guest is William, and William is gray and white, actually gray tabby and white, adult male cat. He's between 2 and 3 years old. He's already neutered because he originally came to the shelter as a kitten and was adopted by a family who has had him for the last couple of years. They brought him back because they have to move to a place that doesn't allow pets. And one of the things we don't want to do at the shelter is that we don't want to refuse people who rent adoption of pets. That's silly. Plenty of people who don't own their own home make wonderful pet owners and keep their pet forever. But we do try to caution people, if you don't own your own home and you're going to adopt a kitten or puppy that's going to live 12, 15 years or even longer, you really have to think as much as you possibly can about the future, about making the pet part of your family so that if you move or travel, you'll be able to keep your pet. One of the things that people come up against, obviously, is losing a lease or a home suddenly, such that they couldn't possibly plan for it, and that can happen to anyone. But here at the shelter, we feel like the pet's part of your family. So if you suddenly had to move, found yourself in dire straits, it's probably unlikely that you would decide to take 3 or 4 of your kids, but not the other 2. So we really hope that people who adopt pets from the shelter want to make them part of the family and will include them in their future. Of course, if you can't, that's what we're here for, and we will always take them back. So William is in need of a new home, and we certainly hope we can find one since he originally started from here, so we know a lot about him. If you think that William would make a nice pet for you or someone that you know, then please let us know. Call us at 301-600-1546. You can also share his picture on Facebook for people who might not even realize he's here. We are back with our next guest, Russell, and Russell is my favorite kind of cat. There has been some research done on cats and coat color that says that all black cats handle living in the city and crowded situations better than the other colors. Can't tell you why that is, but I have always had a black cat and found it to be so, that they don't get stressed out about minor things. I always have a lot of dogs at my house. Black cats handle that just great. And Russell is a perfect example of this. He came to us as a stray. He's not quite 2 years old yet, but he's over a year old. And we make estimates on that based on his body condition, his teeth, and we have our vet confirm that as well. So between 1 and 2 years old, and has obviously been around people. He likes people a lot. He let us cut his nails. He let us look at his ears and do an assessment of him when he first came in. And one of the things that tells us about him is, given his lack of experience being cared for properly, that he's going to be a great cat. He has everything to offer somebody, is young and healthy. As you all know, we test all of our cats for feline leukemia and feline AIDS, diseases that people don't get, but diseases that can shorten the life of a cat. So we want you to feel sure when you come to the shelter and get a cat that you can get a healthy one. So Russell, as you can see, laid back, easygoing. And the nice thing about getting a stray cat is he's also seen the world. So he knows about dogs, he knows about not eating poisonous plants, things like that. One of the things about cats, if we hadn't gotten Russell at this age, we know that unneutered male cats have a very short life out in the wild, not only because of the hazards of traffic and stray animals, but because they get in fights with other cats and they usually will contract some kind of illness or an infection from a bite wound. So getting him in and into a good home will really be the best thing for him because he can live a long and domesticated, healthy life like all of us who live indoors and like air conditioning and whatnot. If you think that Russell would make a nice pet for someone that you know, please let us know. Our next guest is Maggie. And as you can clearly see on camera, Maggie lost the end of her tail somehow. And Maggie came to us the 15th of June from an owner who can no longer take care of her. And she is obviously suffering from a couple of disadvantages. Number one is coming to the shelter in June is harsh for an adult cat because we get 1,200 kittens between April and October, and it's hard to compete with the little cute balls of fluff. The other thing is that she is all black, and some people think all black cats are bad luck. Clearly they're not. I have always had one. I'm a pretty lucky person, but she is a sweetheart. I like her a lot, and she is going to make someone a really great pet. So if you think that Maggie might be a nice match for you, she's been here since June. Don't keep her waiting any longer.
She likes her neck scratched.
Mm-hmm.
I might hang around if you do that.
We are back with our last feline guest for today's show. This is Blaze, and Blaze is a gray tabby. He's heavier than he looks, and after I let you get a nice look at him and see how lovely he is and how friendly, I will tell you he's only 5 months old. This kitty is going to be big, and he is a big love bug, so he's going to make someone a very nice pet, and especially if you like big cats, which many people do. Since he's only 5 months old, he can adapt to whatever family he is given, and that means that if you are interested in adding a cat to your family, or if you already have pets at home, he's young enough to adjust to whatever he might be offered. So if you think that Blaze would make a nice pet for you or someone that you know, then please let us know at the shelter. Remember that we are open on Wednesday and Thursday nights until 8, and we're also open on Saturday. We will be back in just a moment with some more adoptable animals from Frederick County Animal Control. Hope you join us.
Hello, my name is Doug Orner, and I serve as Director of Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service for Frederick County. I've been a volunteer with the Vigilant Hose Company in Emmitsburg, Maryland since 1972. Why do I think it would be a good opportunity for you to become a volunteer? It's a great way to meet new people, learn new skills, and also you can receive college credits for some of the training that you receive. And there's always that reward of hearing a special thank you or a smile on somebody's face whenever you've saved a life or helped them in some way, shape, or form. For more information on becoming a volunteer, visit our website, stop by one of our 26 stations throughout Frederick County, or give me a call at the office. I'll be glad to assist you in becoming a volunteer. Look forward to seeing you at one of the stations in the near future.
We are back with some adoptable dogs at Frederick County Animal Control, and our first guest is Kai. Kai is part Chihuahua and part terrier of some sort, we are guessing. His former owner is active duty military and not allowed to keep him in the barracks, and due to changing assignments, she was not able to board him long-term either, because she just doesn't know how long he's going to need to be cared for by someone else. So she brought him into the shelter. He is a young dog, only 2 years old, and we will neuter him here, get him started on shots, and I think he's going to make somebody a great pet. If you are interested in a dog like Kai, let us know. One of the things that people often think about small dogs is that they will be better suited to indoor living, which Kai probably will. But it is wrong to assume that tiny dogs have less energy. Kai is very energetic, and the terrier in him means that he'll be lots of fun, ball playing, frisbee playing. People also often think that dogs that have short hair will not be a shedding problem. Part of living with dogs is that dogs shed, and depending on their coat, they shed more or less, but short hair is not the key to reducing shedding. There are a couple of things you can do. First is wire-haired dogs shed the least, and silky-haired dogs don't have an undercoat, so they usually just shed once a year. But you can brush them regularly, that definitely helps. And the more time they spend outdoors with you, the better the shedding problem will be, because artificial light for indoor dogs can keep them shedding year-round. So just some things to know about dog hair, what you always wanted to know. But Kai is a cute little dog that's had lots of experience with people, and it's not going to get any bigger, so he's very portable. And if you are interested in him, please let us know. Are you squeaking? Are you squeaking? You'll be okay.
Yeah, look, oh, yeah, check it out. There's nothing on there.
We are back with our next guest. This is Echo. Echo is between 1 and 2 years old, so she's not quite a puppy, but she's still energetic and needs, plenty of training. She's young, and it makes her kind of a puppy in an adult-sized body. She is mostly American Pit Bull Terrier, as far as we can tell. And as we have talked about on the show many times, she's trying to get the pepperoni I put up high. As we have talked about on this show many times, is that American Pit Bull Terriers are much maligned in the press. I recently read a report of dog attacks in the year 2007, and of 31 reported attacks, they were originally, 26 were reported to involve pit bulls, and later it was found out that only 4 of the dogs involved purebred dogs at all, and only 6 involved even pit bull mixes. So it just happens that when a big dog with a big head scares someone, they call it in and report it as a pit bull attack. And later, and that goes in the newspaper, and then later when people investigate that it was a Cane Corso, or it was a Boxer mix, or it was a Great Dane, never gets changed in the newspaper. So we have this mistaken belief that these dogs are more dangerous than other dogs, and it's just not true. All big dogs need to be trained. Any dog with a mouth can bite, and we do a behavior assessment on all of the dogs that come in the shelter for how they respond to loud noises, having their food taken away. So we know when we offer a dog for adoption that the dog offers the normal range of behavior. And certainly any dog without training can make mistakes, So we do recommend that all dogs go to a general obedience class. We don't require it, that's up to you. A lot of people have plenty of experience training their own dogs, but we will especially recommend it for first-time dog owners, that you have some professional help to get you over the hump of how you want your dog to be in her home. And I can tell you by looking at her, her ears are so big and her nose is so boxy that it's possible that she's part Great Dane or part Hound of some type. We just don't know. And the reason that we call her a pit bull mix is because she's brindle and she's a medium-sized dog, and we want anyone who adopts her to know that they may be faced with some landlord discrimination or neighbors that are afraid. So you're really going to have to raise your dog to be an ambassador if they look scary at all, even when they're not. So if you think that Echo might make a nice match for you, then please let us know at the shelter. What do you hear? What do you hear? Something. We are back with Mia. Mia is some type of hound mix, maybe a little bit of blue heeler, we were told. That's an Australian cattle dog. And we also would consider her possibly mixed pit bull. What some people do to avoid the stigma of the American Pit Bull Terrier is to call their dogs mixed boxers or mixed terriers or mixed bulldogs to try and make things better for the dog. And here at Frederick County Animal Control, we do the opposite. If there's a dog of mixed heritage and we don't know what her heritage is, like Mia, then we do address that she could be part pit bull, and you need to know that because of discrimination against dogs by breed, which we don't agree with, but her owner is going to face, even though she doesn't necessarily look like a pit. The brindle markings sometimes make people concerned that she could be part pit bull terrier. So Mia is a mixed breed dog that is about 4 months old, and so she's going to be a big girl, probably 60 pounds, and she obviously can still be a lap dog. And she has really big feet and big growth plates, so I do suspect that she's got a lot of room to grow. She is not a hyper puppy. She certainly is as active as puppies should be, but I think that she's going to make somebody a really great pet. She is sweet and cute, she likes people, and she pays attention. So what we do with puppy adoptions is that we collect 4 applications for her, and we pick the best match for her personality and the adopter's experience. At this animal shelter, we only get about 300 puppies a year, and we have way more than 300 people who want puppies. And what would be great is if some of those people can choose to adopt adult dogs, which some do, and the rest would go to responsible breeders. And how do you find a responsible breeder? I'll give you the best tip of all. If there's not a waiting list to get a puppy, then you should have questions about how the puppies came to be. Doesn't mean you won't get a great dog, you certainly can, but we definitely encourage you to go to people who collect a list of qualified owners before they make a litter of puppies. So Mia is here at the shelter waiting for her new life. And if you are interested in taking on the challenge of a puppy, please let us know. We are back with Princess, and Princess is a tricolored rat terrier. She is 4 or 5 years old, and Princess came to us from her former owner, who can no longer take care of her. And interestingly, she's missing a toe on her back foot. It's well healed and it's been gone for a long time, and I don't know the story with that. I don't know if it happened when she was born or if it happened in some kind of accident later on, but it won't affect her in any way. She's perfectly mobile and friendly. One thing I will say about Princess is that rat terriers are usually really tough, forward dogs, and Princess is not that. She is shy and delicate and patient. When she came in here, she's just checking everything out because she's worried about so many things. When she came in and saw the cord to the microphone, she jumped away from it. So Princess is going to need an owner who's patient with her and doesn't expect her to maybe not go to the dog park or not have to do a lot of scary new things right away. She, since she is a rat terrier, she has a tough composition, and she certainly can be shown the world and raised to see that everything's okay and she can be a little more brave. But it's also hard for some dogs to come to the shelter. A bunch of people will tell me, I can't come to the shelter, it's too sad. For the majority of dogs, like Echo and Mia, the shelter is fine. There's a routine, there's kind people, there's food, blankets, heated floors. Bet you guys didn't know we had heated floors in the kennels. So stray dogs can really enjoy it here because it's safe. They're not being chased. They don't have to face the weather. But for pets like Mia, who lived in a home with gentle people for 4 to 5 years, the shelter can be a little much. Fluorescent lights, lots of barking, traffic of strangers in and out. So she is definitely going to need somebody to love and comfort her and get her into a situation where she feels a lot more in control.
Not shaking anymore.
Good. Brandy says she's not shaking anymore, so she's quick to adapt, which is part of her terrier nature. And we hope that we're going to find just the best home for her. She's got a lot going for her. She really likes people. So if you think that you would like to know more about her or she would make a good match for you, then please come in and meet her or send someone in that might be just what she's looking for. You're a good girl. We are back with our last guest of today's show, and this is Moo. Moo is a beautiful corn snake. Rat snakes as a group make really the best pets as snakes go, in my opinion. Rat snakes are pretty predictable and stable. They're friendly. They like to be warm. A lot of times people ask questions about having a snake as a pet. Does a snake really know you from someone else? And people who feed and care for snakes say yes. My uncle had a black snake that was a wild snake in his barn that he wanted to relocate, and drove him about 3 miles away, and the snake came back. So they like their territory, they like where they're comfortable, and they definitely like to be warm. Moo is a little chilly this morning because she was under a rock hiding away from her lamp. So that means she's not going to move around very much until she gets warmed up from being with Randy. She is really a pretty snake. This is a typical color of corn snakes. Corn snakes are indigenous to Maryland. But a lot of corn snakes have more black on them, so they look a little more variegated. Since she doesn't have any black markings, even her eyes are light colored, she's really, really pretty snake. So if you have been thinking about having a snake for a pet and you want to talk to us about what's involved in taking care of one, it depends on how you feel about buying equipment. They need a lot of equipment, but once you are set up for caring for a snake, it isn't really that hard. They don't have to eat every day, but you definitely want to attend to them every day, make sure that they haven't gotten injured on anything sharp, make sure that their habitat is clean and the right temperature. We've been talking a lot about her being cold. Snakes don't make their own body heat, so it is really important that we provide that for them so that they can remain active and feel like eating. Snakes usually prefer to eat live food, and that's one of the things that often puts people off about having a snake for a pet, me included. I like snakes, but I'm not willing to feed one pet to another pet, so I don't have any snakes. But snakes can be trained to eat frozen or prepared foods, and if you feel up to that task, then you can solve that problem for yourself and for the snake. If you are interested in a pet like Moo, give us a call. A lot of the snakes that we receive at the animal shelter, we send out to reptile rescues as quickly as possible because it is hard to care for them here. Not to mention, it's unnerving for our guinea pigs to have them here. So we try to get them out to experts as soon as possible. So if you're interested in Moo or a snake like Moo, let us know. We can refer you to those rescues and get you matched up. Thanks for joining us today on Pet Pals. If you have seen an animal today that might be a good match for you, let us know. And always consider going to petfinder.com and sharing pictures of our adoptable pets, as well as sharing this link you see below to this episode of Pet Pals. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.